We're live.
There we go. I think we're live. Okay, it is Wednesday, May 24th. It is 12 o'clock, and the mortgage firm Wellington Lake Worth is here to go through your mortgage and financing questions. We're here every week from 12 until 12:30. I'm here today with Elizabeth. We've worked together for many years. Elizabeth, say hello. Sort of. I mean, there's my introduction. I'm not as good as Mike. There's Elizabeth. Hit it.
Mike has the introduction all down, and so Mike's not joining us today. He had a prior commitment, but Tom and I are here, and well, just a little bit, I guess, about myself is just been in the finance industry for over 20 years, and went from the banking side over to mortgage, and I just had so much fun just working with Tom and Mike at Regions Bank. I followed them to the mortgage firm, and we've been together for over 10 years. So.
Yeah, we worked together at the bank gig for quite a while, and of course, Elizabeth was great with the customers. And then we were fortunate enough to have her come over to the mortgage from there. So today we're going to just kind of go over with you the transaction of going for a mortgage, the people that will be involved in the transaction from start to finish. We like to call this, you are the boss, because we're going to go through with you as you being the borrower or the client, the people that are involved in the transaction from start to finish.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't think when you buy a house, I don't think many people realize how many hands pretty much touch the. Oh, my dog just fell.
There goes that dog.
I'm sorry. But nobody really realizes how many hands touch a loan, and whether it's the realtor, the lender, title, insurance. We're going to cover all of that, but just everybody that goes into this. It's not just Tom and I or Mike, from beginning to end. We have so many people involved with the transaction, so hopefully this will give you an idea of, what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, regretfully, sometimes we get the I don't know, the indication or the impression that really we just grab a name and a number, and then we go ahead and we drink the afternoon away, and hopefully you'll close on time. But this is really going to disclose all the people that are involved in the juggling that sometimes needs to get done behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you are, of course, the boss of the transaction directly. Of course, you hire the realtor. Involved with that realtor, there's a transaction coordinator, a loan officer, that's us. Of course, we have processors, loan partners, underwriters, closers, funders, home inspector is involved, an appraiser is involved. Of course, insurance agents, title for the transfer of title from ownership from one individual to another, the title processor with the title company, the title closer that's doing the actual closing to sit down and notarize everything for you, the notary, a surveyor, movers, utility companies. These are all the people that are involved in the transaction from start to finish, even though some of them might just touch the file and go, whether they just are doing a survey or they're just doing the maybe an appraiser. But the majority of these people are involved in the transaction from start to finish.
Right. And this is to show just pretty much just one purchase of a house. You're going to impact people's, income one way or another, directly or indirectly. So like these are the people that you're impacting directly. Obviously, nobody's doing this out of the kindness of their heart. Everybody puts on their time, efforts, and everything into it. Indirectly, the title underwriter, insurance underwriter, loan servicer, the bank where you're going to be transferring the funds in and from. And even the courier, the support staff. I mean, there's so many people that are handling this transaction from beginning to end.
And these are all the people that get paid along the way. And not that they're not entitled. We all get paid. That's just a byproduct of what we all do when we go to work. We just want to point out that these are the people that we need to get in touch with or have to obviously keep involved in the transaction just so you close in a timely manner.
Yeah, and one of the things that the way that I explain too that you are the boss, it's like from time to time we've had situations to where maybe somebody's not being a team player with everybody that's involved in a transaction, and I think sometimes you kind of got to remind each other, hey, you know what, you're not doing this for free. There's a person that's purchasing. They are expecting us to be able to close on time, to be to work for them pretty much. So that's why we call it You Are the Boss, because none of us get paid if it wasn't for you looking for a house.
And if you can flip back one more time, if we take a look at the people that are involved, thank you. Don't forget any one or all of these individual companies, people. If any one of them drops the ball, it affects everybody else in that line. In other words, if let's say I don't know, let's say an appraiser doesn't get us back an appraisal on time, well, it affects a lot of stuff that we have to do with the closer, and of course with the title and all the others. So yes, all of these people and or agencies have to work in harmony to get you to close on time.
Correct. So I mean, I know like whenever we deal with our borrowers, we're dealing with them directly, and I love the fact that you know we want to be your direct point of contact, you know, and these are all the people that we're pretty much chasing to get answers sometimes. So so sometimes you know we may not have an answer, you know, about a home inspection or maybe an insurance quote or whatever because we're pretty much doing a lot of the legwork. And I know like there's a lot of realtors out there too that will do the job with us. So so just know like there's a lot of trying to contact everybody, and like you said it perfectly, it's got to be in harmony in order for this to work smoothly. So
Yep.
I'll cover the realtor.
Go
So
ahead.
you when we put this up there, we just kind of want to give you an idea of what you should be looking for when you're hiring a realtor. And notice I just said, you know, hire. So this person is actually working again for you. So, you know, we usually recommend, you know, somebody that's local, professional, that understands technology, that's ethical, that's diligent. I'll go back to ethical. I will tell you that there's a lot of realtors out there that are just wanting to do this for the transaction. And then you have realtors that are wanting to do this because they care about their jobs. They care about you know putting someone under a family under a roof and making sure that they're doing this for the right reasons. So that's personable and knowledgeable. You want to make sure that when you are dealing with somebody that they're going to be able to you know to explain the contract. It's not just sign here, sign here, sign here. You want to know what you're getting yourself into. Like I always say, you know what, this isn't something that you just bought at Target that you're just going to go return because you didn't like it. I mean, once you're in this is you're in it for the long haul. So you want to make sure that you're working with somebody that you're going to have, you know, just great communication, that all of this checks off, because this is the person that's going to be, you know, just going to bat for you. You want to make sure that that person is representing you. So I mean, you wouldn't just go and hire an attorney just because they're you know a friend, or attorney because you just you know they have a reputation. So you want to make sure that you're just hiring a realtor that's going to be able to work with you, that you're going to feel comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if, you know, it's all, we all know everybody gets along great when everything is moving along like it should. But you also want to be sure that in the event that something does happen, and things do happen along the way, that the realtor is going to be able to communicate that with everybody, coordinate it with the title company, with the lending, you know, with us, with the loan officer, the other realtor. So yeah, you know, your real estate professional takes on a lot of responsibilities as well. And of course, also able to handle stuff when sometimes things go a little bit array.
Yeah. And if you don't have a realtor, I promise you, contact us. We've all worked with amazing ones, and a lot of the ones that you know we're always picky also with who we work with because we want to make sure that you know, like I said, you know, it's our reputation on the line, their reputation on the line. So we all know who we work with, you know, pretty darn well. So we'll be more than happy to refer anybody that you know that needs you know that needs a realtor that doesn't have one. So just you want to make sure that all this checks off for sure.
The lender. Well, these are the things you want to look for in a lender. You know, of course, a local direct lender. So I'm going to just touch on quickly a local direct lender, maybe versus, you know, a not a direct lender and or a bank. You know, so a local direct lender is what the mortgage firm is. When you close on your transaction for that day, the mortgage firm is the company or the is funding that loan. And we do that because we want to be sure that we hit your closing date. I've
Mhm.
worked with non-direct lenders in the past, and the problem, regretfully, with some of those is they can throw you conditions come the closing day because they're not really too concerned with hitting your closing day. So you really lose a lot of control when you go to a non-direct lender. So the mortgage firm is a direct lender. We do that because we can fund your loan the day of closing, which is the most important. We have multiple programs, and of course, we want you to reach out to us and give us a call. But as we've talked about on this program now for weeks, we've got FHA, VA, USD loans. We've got HEROES programs, bond programs. Uh, there's a multitude of programs. I'm doing a land loan or looking into a land loan for somebody this afternoon. So, as far as having an option to choose the best loan that's going to be, right for your situation is what we'd like to bring.
Mm-hmm.
Professional. Well, Elizabeth is very professional. Mike is very professional. We're all very professional in our office. We've all been doing it a very long time. So look, we've all gone for mortgages as well. We don't get treated any different when we go for mortgage. So we know what to expect, and we know, what to kind of help you along the way with. Ethical, of course, we're all licensed. Diligent, we're very diligent. And of course, we have to be in order to be sure that you close on time. Personable, there you go, Elizabeth. That's you.
That's you too.
Very personable.
You're in your, I mean, this is just, that describes Tom. I mean, look at that.
And I think I'm knowledgeably. What is the last one there, Mike?
Mike set us up for that.
Knowledgeable, very knowledgeable. So yes, that's why we feel that we are the best ones out there for you to call. We can cover all these bases in a nice little phone call.
Yeah, and I think it's also our team. So that when I think, of like what we do, the professionalism, the being ethical, being diligent, it's not a one-man band. So whether you're working with Tom, Mike, or I, we have like the support stuff that we have, like the team that we have checks all of this off. So the lender, I wouldn't say it's just the faces that you see here every single Wednesday. It's going to be the team. And I think that I could say that for, the mortgage firm Wellington Lake Worth. I mean, the mortgage firm as a whole it's a family, type of company, but our office in particular, I could say that that's one thing that I seriously think that I think it surprises me and amazes me every single time because, we check all of this off. So, and believe me, we get calls all the time. I'm sure. I mean, would you go back to the bank or any other, company? I'm happy where I'm at. Like, I love working with everybody that I work with because I know that I can count on them. They count on me, and we all kind of lean on each other. And if we have questions, we call each other. And even though, Tom and I might have different clients, if I have a question, I can call Tom. So we all work together. And that is something that you want your lender to have.
Yeah. And besides taking our word for it, you can certainly go on our Facebook page, read our previous reviews. And yeah, we try just to be sure because we've worked for the opposite in the past. I've worked for either lenders, whether they be banks or other, that don't do this, that aren't there when there's a problem. There is no help when an issue comes along. So when you find a place where, not only do we enjoy working together, but we enjoy working together to get things done,
right.
It makes a huge help.
Right. Yeah, no, it really does. And, you have companies that I had a gentleman the other day and I was trying to explain to him what a direct lender was. And he just wouldn't let me finish explaining, what it was. And he's like, oh, so you don't lend your own money. I'm like, no, we do. Oh, so you just don't have, your underwriters are not in-house. I'm like, no, they are. So like they have like this, you have different types of lenders. You have the table lenders, you have your brokers, you have, your banks, you have your direct lenders. So there's different types of lenders out there. But I mean, I think I just get a lot of, oh, that's awesome. When I've said, we're direct lenders, people just happen to know what we do, how we work. It's exactly what that says. We're all local. I mean, we could pick up our phone and, contact our underwriter, if we needed to, or our processor. So everything is in-house, and that is very, very important.
And we do it all the time. We can pick up the phone and call the underwriter, call the closer, be sure everything works coordinatedly. And the other thing I also wanted to point out with being a direct lender is we don't have overlays on our guidelines. So of course there's FHA conventional. Those guidelines are given to us by those agencies. Sometimes a bank or a lender, if they want to restrict their exposure, we'll put guidelines on top of those guidelines. So instead of maybe accepting a 620 credit score for a loan program, they'll say, okay, but we want a 680 instead because we want to limit maybe our exposure to that program. We have no overlays at the mortgage firm. Whatever guidelines are brought to us by Fannie and Freddie, FHA, VA are the guidelines that we underwrite under, period.
Yep.
Insurance, hit it.
Oh, my turn.
We all have insurance in Florida.
Yeah, insurance in Florida is great. But with the insurance part, I would say yes, somebody that's going to be local, that has multiple carriers, because you do want to, get enough quotes to help you make your decision. That's going to be professional. You want somebody that's going to explain to you what the coverage is. I can't even tell you like how many calls I get, and can you explain to me what this deductible or this percentage means? And I'm like, nope, can't. Call your, the insurance person.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that because it's not just let me go with the cheapest insurance possible. There's insurance that I've learned so much with insurance just because of the insurance companies that we're in contact with, because they'll explain something to me that I had no idea what it covered, what it didn't cover, and they want to make sure that they explain this to our borrowers. I mean, we live in Florida. I mean, God forbid a hurricane or something happens. There's insurance companies out there that, yeah, you go for the cheapest. They don't explain anything, to you, but then all of a sudden your personal items aren't covered, or you know what I mean? It's like there's so many different things that are just not explained, that you do want to talk to somebody that's going to be professional, that's ethical, that's going to explain everything to you, that's diligent, personable, and knowledgeable, not knowledgeably again. But you want all of this in the insurance agent. And again, I can't stress this enough. Ask questions of what the coverage is. Don't be if you don't understand it, you need to understand insurance. I mean, like I said, we live in probably the craziest state with hurricanes, and I mean, we saw what happened on the West Coast, and it's kind of scary when you think about um, what could happen and what does it cover. And I know there's like a lot of insurance companies that'll start dropping. So you want to talk to somebody that can explain all this to you. Don't just go for the cheapest quote possible. That's the best thing I could say about that.
And the other thing we'd like to discuss now, because insurance is the way it is in Florida, is the second we find that an offer's been accepted on a property, we really want you to go ahead and order that wind mitigation, that inspection, and get that to insurance companies immediately, so we can get an idea on how much your insurance premiums are going to be.
Right.
We've all, including those of us on this Facebook, our insurance has gone sky high. We're not immune to market conditions at all. So, and we get the phone calls, Tom, our payments went up, and what's it from? I thought we had a 30-year fixed mortgage. Well, you do. That's not what went up. What went up is most likely your taxes or your insurance, especially in Florida. So that's why we're getting to be extremely diligent on getting those insurance premiums immediately, just so we know, about where your insurance costs are going to be. Because what we thought, or what we might have anticipated be 2,500, 3,000, 3,500, could be 6,000, 7,000 nowadays. So insurance is extremely important in Florida. And I was reading somewhere where they're considering dropping sometimes, whatever I know, houses with solar panels, because the solar panel is being attached to the roof. So anyway, insurance is a rather unknown in Florida. So we like to address it immediately.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's, oh my gosh, there's so many different laws that are constantly changing around this. So, and Tom, you made an excellent point. I mean, insurance and taxes are the two things that we have no control over. Um, and I'll tell you, like insurance companies, like I get it. Sometimes it's out of their control because I know that insurance goes up. But you always want to, every single time, every year that this renews, check in with your insurance company and just ask them, if there's anything that, that maybe, I don't know, if you change to impact windows, if you, I mean, again, don't quote me on any of this. And my insurance people don't even call me saying you said something wrong, because I don't do insurance. I'm a lender. But yeah, of course, like there's certain things that'll get you discounts. So when you have your house and you start doing, um, updates to it, whether it's impact windows or a new roof or whatever, I mean, those can give you discounts. So you want to always be in contact with them to let them know that you did do any of those. I know like my parents, oh my gosh, like their insurance before they sold their house, was hitting about $5,000 or $6,000. And I'm
Mhm.
like, how is this happening? They never checked it. They never changed it with the same insurance company for years on end, and they just never questioned it. And I
Mhm.
was just shocked. I mean, I just couldn't believe that they were already $5,000, $6,000, annual premium, because they kept going up. They never, they had certain things changed to the house. They had a new roof. They had a couple of things. Never checked in with their insurance company. So, um, this is something you definitely want to stay on top of.
Yeah, maybe what we'll do is we'll get a wait. I gotta tell my computer I want to restart much later. Um, Again, we've had insurance agents with us before on these presentations to explain to us insurance and what's going on in Florida. Maybe we'll go ahead and schedule that again. It's very informative. Um, but yeah, insurance is extremely important to get that premium. Again, flood zones. I think citizens now is going to require flood insurance, even if you're not in the flood zone. So there's a lot of new things happening around the corner with insurance.
Yep. So just stay tuned because there's a lot of stuff that's going on. And I have a friend that I know she does I think the underwriting part or auditing part or something, and she's just constantly trying to update me. But I'm like, gosh, you just said something different last week, and it's that fast. It changes really fast.
Yeah. No. Home inspector, again, you're looking for the same thing in a home inspector. You certainly want somebody local, somebody that has experience, doing the inspections and the 4-point inspection and the wind mitigation reports. Ethical, diligent, knowledgeable, somebody that's going to get you the reports in a timely manner. Because again, that's what we're going to forward to the insurance company to get premiums. Again, the 4-point is the the AC, electrical, water, and structure, and then the structure. Yeah, you know better than I do. And then the wind mitigation report is it's kind of a report that explains how the house, the roof is strapped to the property. Is it a concrete block house? Is it a wood frame house? And how the roof is actually strapped to the property. How much wind can the house sustain? So those are the things that the insurance company is going to need to get you a premium.
Yeah, and it's not us that require that home inspection, by the way.
Right.
But I don't want to see it. But I will tell you that it depends what type of inspection you end up getting. I know there's certain inspections that you need for insurance, and there's some that I don't know. Like, I think that if I'm buying a house, I want to know like the ins and outs of that property. So there are certain inspections that you do just to know, and maybe the insurance company may not need it, but I mean you want to know what you're getting, what you're getting yourself into. So um, just as a suggestion, when somebody says, oh, what do I need to purchase the insurance is just going to need certain things, but I don't know, like I kind of feel like I want to know what's going on everywhere, in that property. This is something like, again, you're not going to return tomorrow. You're not going to return, anytime soon. So, you want to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, well, there are certainly a couple of major important things that we can think of off the top of our head. One of them is maybe an old electrical panel. That's certainly not there. There's one electrical panel that's in Florida that's never accepted by any insurance company, and they're still out there. The other thing you want to be careful of is polybutylene pipes. If anybody is kind of familiar with those, you don't know. You can see PVC pipes maybe coming out of the bottom of somebody's sink, but behind the wall they could be using polybutylene pipes, which you'll never get insurance for either. So that inspection is extremely important. As Elizabeth said, you certainly want to know what's going on behind the 4 walls.
Yeah, and you're right. Like the polybutylene, like that's
The deal killer.
Oh my gosh, yes, I can't even stress it. Like that's what that you want to get that out of the way. You want to make sure that what's behind the walls, because you're absolutely right. Like there's no way that you could insure it. I mean, we got insurance quotes for one, and I want to say the insurance quote was like $9,000 or $10,000 the premium, and once it was fixed, then we would go back to, $3,000 or whatever premium.
Right.
So that's but you're paying that up front. You know what I mean? So you're coming out of pocket, and I mean, that's pretty much disaster, like just waiting to happen. I mean, I know that I haven't been able to close on anything with polybutylene because, the minute that we start talking about it and we start getting quotes and everything else, like it just becomes a mess.
And just a brief, not that I know the ins and outs of polybutylene, but I've got a couple of years on Elizabeth, so I was around when it was being used. It just, the fittings do not withstand the test of time. Regretfully, they have a way of bursting or becoming faulty over time, and that's why they stopped using polybutylene and can't get insurance on it. So that's very difficult one to get insurance on.
Yeah, and your home inspector, you want to make sure that they're local, that they're experienced, that they're professional, ethical, diligent, knowledgeably. Again, because and I know that's a typo, but we just keep saying knowledgeably. But but you want to make sure that your home inspector is just doing this. Like, oh my gosh, you want to know everything about the house, especially if you're paying for this. I know, like in the past, like I've seen people come back. I had a buyer, and she was really upset because she said, and read the inspection report. Don't just take, I just read it. I'm telling you, like I finally started reading an inspection report one day just because I wanted the knowledge, and I just didn't realize everything that it entailed. Um, and this one lady comes, this was years ago, but this lady comes back and she was all upset because she says, I personally think she was trying just to either sue somebody or whatever. And she's like, there's mold by the AC. And the first thing I did was, this is when I read that inspection report, straight into the inspection report. And sure enough, the inspector put possible mold present, recommend having, whatever company come and check it out. So your recommendations are going to be in that report. So it's if you find a home inspector that is going to be diligent and they're going to go ahead and just go through everything, and I mean, there's no way that they're going to know like every single, corner of the house, but all the important areas, they're going to do their best. But they are going to give you recommendations on certain things. They are going to point out things that may consider, like you may reconsider on buying the property. So this is very important that you read this. This is the first thing you do when you're under contract. So from the very beginning, you're being exposed to what you're buying. So read that inspection report, because that's going to prevent you from having bad surprises after you close.
Yeah, and I think it's, what is it, 5 days or 7 days from the time that you go to contract? You've got maybe, I think, 7 or 9 days to do an inspection, get the report back, and then decide within that window whether you want to proceed forward or you want to rescind on that agreement and maybe not happy with the inspection report.
Yeah, this will also help with the inspection report. So right now we're starting to see a lot of like sellers, contribute to. Whether it's to fix something or a credit, but this is the report that you start seeing all that in. So again, if there's anything prior to you closing on the property that you need to make sure that needs to be fixed, or something that you're questioning, or whatever it is, this is the report that's going to give you the history and information on that.
Title company, again, so the title company is the location where everything is, how can I put it? The title company is the third party that holds your earnest money deposit and then ensures that there's clear title once you take ownership of the property, and that also is the one that ensures that everything closes and funds and signed on time. So, and again, you want a local title company. Most title companies, if not all, have attorneys that either own them or a part of them in Florida, I believe. An experienced title company professional, people that are going to be able to provide what we need in a timely manner, close when you're ready. They're also receiving your wiring funds. They want to be sure that they're giving you the wiring information correctly and on timely manner, and ensuring that they're giving you the correct information, because wiring money is a little risky in Florida. Ethical, diligent, knowledgeable. Everything you want, and everything you want in everybody along the way. You want the same type of ethical and experience and personal experience along with all these people, I would think, along the way.
And I think the main reason is, going back to what you said at the beginning, you want this to work just in harmony. You want this to be smooth. So we all pretty much, if you're looking for all that local experience, professional, ethical, diligent, knowledgeable, like we're all going to be able to work together the same way. So I mean, I know a lot of times that, maybe our buyers don't have a choice on the title company, and we just try to make the best of it. And there's been a lot of title companies that we'll come across, and they're just the dream come true. And then there's some that, make things probably a little bit more difficult, but we just kind of cross our fingers and hope we end up with some of the best title companies that we've worked with. So
yeah, and again, you're right. In Palm Beach County, I think the seller chooses. In Broward County, I think the buyer chooses. Whichever county has different rules for who chooses the title company, but yes, they're very important in the transaction.
yeah. So, and then as always, here's our contact information. We're coming up with 12:30, so that's pretty much a wrap for us today. But just always know that you could always reach out to Mike, Tom, or myself, and here's our information. We're always here to help. As always, just to share our Facebook We have classes tonight. I know there's a 6:30 class for our home buyer. So we'll be on. So you could go to TMF classes and sign up if you are interested. If not, we totally get it. But join us somewhere because we get a lot of information out there, whether it's on Facebook or our classes. Did I miss anything, Tom?
Not at all. If you're looking to purchase a house in the next 3 to 6 months, please give us a call. The Facebook of Wellington Lake Worth, the mortgage firm Wellington Lake Worth. The bond programs are available. Heroes programs are available. A new first-time buyer program is coming available the beginning of July 1st, for the beginning of July. So please give us a call.
Absolutely. So thank you as always for joining us.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.
See you next week.